When Zina became a mother at 19, she swore that her daughters would never suffer the way she did. No hunger, no desperation, no begging from men who gave less than they took. She worked as a secretary by day, cleaned offices by night, and still couldn't afford a school uniform for her last-born. When her landlord slipped a second eviction notice under her door, something inside her cracked. She was tired, broke, and angry at a world that had never once bent in her favor. So, when a co-worker who always smiled too wide, with their eyes too still, told her about a gathering called the Circle, Zina went, thinking that it was some sort of NGO ready to help and also ready to accept any help she can get. Turns out it was an occultic organization, but she needed the help, so she went anyways, fingers crossed. The night of the ritual was humid, the air thick with incense and something sour beneath it. Zina stood in a ring of salt, barefoot, surrounded by others who didn't speak. In the center, a man in white robe asked her no questions. He only placed a hand over her chest and whispered in a language she didn't understand. A sharp heat bloomed through her, not painful, just invasive, like something had been pulled from deep inside her and placed on display. The man nodded. It is done. She wasn't asked to give anything, not directly. The gathering called the Circle didn't work like that. Instead, it examined you, your past, your blood, your fears, and from that, it took what it deemed necessary. The man said calmly, "You will prosper, but one of your daughters will know emptiness in the womb. The other will never hold a marriage that stays." Zina's breath caught. "They won't die?" she asked. "No, they will live." She nodded. That was enough. So Zina went ahead to join the Circle, since they assured her that her children, the ones she was willing and doing all these things to protect, will not die. After that, her bank account grew. Promotion came. A business bloomed. She bought a house with gates tall enough to forget where she came from. Her daughters, Amara and Chedemma, grew in silk and safety. She told herself she had made the right choice. She said to herself that she had time, 15, maybe 20 years before consequences would arrive, saying that if she hadn't made that choice, who would take care of her and her two children for the next 15 to 20 years? At the moment, the risk was far too little compared to the outcome or consequences. Years later, Amara married first, a quiet, studious woman who met a kind pharmacist from a good family. But years passed and no child came. They shrugged. Unexplained infertility, they said. Her husband's family was less kind. They always whispered to Amara's hearing, "What kind of woman can't give birth? Did our son marry a man in a woman's body?" It kept coming. Amara stopped attending family events on her husband's side. Zina never once pressed her for grandchildren. Amara took this as maternal compassion. Until the night her sister Chidemma, shaking frantically, invited her to meet a pastor. Pastor spoke softly with the weight of someone used to tragedy. Womb was shot in the spirit before you were even married. Amara's mouth went dry. What do you mean in the spirit? She asked. Mama looked at her, eyes red. There is something wrong with our family. Something Mom is not telling us. Nodded solemnly. This wasn't your doing. From above you. Someone who thought they were protecting you. The ride home was silent. Mara remembered her mother's strange silence, the comfort that never dug for answers, the way Zina never asked about doctors, never cried with her. She began to see her mother not as kind, but guilty. Amara ended her life. Slumped beside the bed, an unfinished letter in her hand. You made me hollow. You made me forget I was once whole. Zina broke apart, but the gathering called the circle did not offer sympathy. Sacrifice gone, they said. One remains. And aggressive. One and only remaining sacrifice doesn't stray and still remains a sacrifice. Because of this, and single-handedly, every single serious relationship that came to Chidemma, the current man interested in her, a very wonderful doctor, run mad since she tried to kill him, and he somehow always keeps surviving. Overcome her denial, tried the real explanation behind what her mother did, and acting the way she is acting was no longer her mother. Decided to disown her own mother. Doing this, the link between her and her mother was severed in the spirit realm. Notified Zina that her last sacrifice and the remaining sacrifice is now void. Try a way to called the circle didn't listen. They needed what more than what they lost. They needed Zina. Whether they killed her or whether she was sacrificed, nobody knows. Picture. The doctor that went insane with the help of the pastor and Cindy and Chidemma got married, and within had their first daughter. Happily ever after, because they were always guarded, they were always prayerful. They didn't know what happened to Zina, that the spiritual influence was real in their family, and whether it has truly left them alone, nobody knows. If you like this type of stories, Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell, and also drop a like on any platform you are seeing this video.